Oddities. Stay strange.
Yay.
We're back at
We're
it.
back.
It's been like 3 weeks.
2-3 weeks, something in there, because you went
Yeah.
to California.
Uh-huh.
Wait,
Nothing
has it
last
been that
nothing
long?
last week. And then this was another week. Like it was 3 weeks ago, basically today.
Wow. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. Hi, Odd Fam. Welcome back to Oddities. I'm Cassie.
I'm Kelly.
And welcome back to Strange Town, as per usual. The usual. The usual. Usualmente. Everything that you could want is in the description. This includes our social media, our Patreon, our merch store, all of the artists that we've worked with, our email. You think it, it's there.
All inside. I actually want to shout out again Kyle Head.
Yes.
I have to I was editing the other day and I was like, this is so good.
It hits so
And
good
I just sat there listening to our intro
over and over.
way longer than I should have. I don't really care. It's
Fir-
just so good.
First of all, he
So
nailed
again,
it. Yes.
thank you for that.
Thank you, Kyle Head. Actually check out his Spotify. He has a YouTube channel. He's releasing a bunch of original
He's on
songs now.
TikTok.
He's on TikTok. Yep.
Hmm.
He's doing big stuff. So we love to see it. Um, how's my borscht?
Your borscht is good.
Yeah, fill us in,
Summer
girl. It
is
has been a million
summering.
years.
We went to California. That was a great trip. Saw family,
California.
we spent the entire day in Lancaster one of those days. And as I was driving there, I couldn't help but realize how beige it was, and I couldn't remember it being that way.
So I can confirm it's outstandingly beige.
Yeah, it's extraordinarily. You came out here when it was green as I put it,
Green,
because we
yes.
had just a bunch of rain and crap. But anyways, um, yeah, we spent the whole day out there with the boys' best friend, and that was great. We
I love that.
floated in a pool. They played. It was a
That
good
photo is
time.
so great.
And then we had to drive by the old house because we
Of
were
course.
there,
Of
and
course.
it has changed drastically just from the outside. So who knows what's going on
So
inside.
who knows?
So hope that family's doing well. We see, here's the funny thing. I had said in our very last episode, I'm just really looking forward to getting Mexican food.
Did you get Mexican food?
No,
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
it's fine. I'm just a little disappointed in myself.
You're like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
I really am. But speaking of Mexican food, Taco Bell brought back the enchilada, and I'm really happy about that. So, you win some, you lose some.
It's true.
But we did have a really good time there. I kind of losing track of the day and the time and the year and all that stuff, but that's fine. I kind of like when that happens in summer. I feel terrible for you and my family in California who has to deal with horrific heat. I'm sorry. It's
All
been in the
right.
70s here.
Love that for you.
It's been wonderful.
Literally so nice.
And I'm not trying to rub that in or anything. It's been really wonderful.
You are one of the few people in life where, like, if I say I'm happy for you, I actually mean it, and there's not a twinge of jealousy. It's just
Hmm.
purely happy for you.
Yeah. Um, and I appreciate that because I'm also happy for you and I mean it when I say it.
Thank you, Borsty.
So this is our friendship. Deal with it, people.
It is.
Um, yeah, I mean, overall, it's been a good few weeks, and I've got the kids have a bunch of stuff going on at the Y coming up, and we've been doing that, and they've been having a great time, and here we are.
Summer baby. I had my time off in between jobs,
Mm-hmm.
which was very enjoyable. It was a great combination of getting things done and spending so much time with my boy. And like rest and like all good
Yes.
things. So we love it. My birthday was great. It was a perfect day. It was like all of my favorite things. My birthday cake was so good. It was lemon cake with blueberry filling and
I
cream cheese
love
frosting.
oh, was it from the bakery?
It was from the bakery. It was so
Damn.
good. I'll tell you what though, they put balloons on it and they were looking weird.
I think the only thing they could do well is flowers.
Yeah, flowers are great. They've done a great job with those in the past.
I'm excited to see what they do for the tiny boy.
Yes, because so two exciting things. One, I'm finishing up my first week at my new job. It's very good. It's overwhelming, but it's good. Um, and two, my boy at the time of recording is turning 1 this Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and we're having a little family fiesta on Saturday. And I did, of course, order a birthday cake for him from the bakery, the same bakery that did Corey's crystal meth pig birthday cake.
I'm just
On my son's cake, what I've requested is a teddy bear. I can't wait to see what we end up with.
and I'm thinking about this now. How can they fuck up
The
a teddy
eyes.
bear?
It'll be the eyes.
It's gonna be the eyes, or they're gonna add nails to the paw,
They
like they
might
did
add
to the pig.
nails. They might add nails. Yeah,
Yeah, this will be
pigs
interesting.
don't
Looking
have
forward to getting
nails.
that photo.
Yeah,
No, they don't, but they remember they
but they
added it
did.
to
Oh yes. How could I remember? Do you think like they did it and they were actually proud of that and they were like, "Yeah, that's a good pig."
Yeah, I think they did that with full confidence.
I love that. That almost makes it so much better, you know?
Like I think they're oh, excuse me, completely oblivious to it.
I mean, I love that for them.
Listen, they make great pastries, cakes, desserts,
All
the whole
very
nine
good.
yards.
You had the
I can,
cupcakes at my baby shower.
yeah, I was like, I can actually
You can.
attest to this.
You can. They were great.
I just, where they're great with that, they're not very good at decorating.
No, the decorating is a distinct gap in skill
Yep,
that they
yep,
have. So,
there it is.
anyway, we've got big plans for the little boy's first birthday. I cannot believe it's been a year. I don't know where the year
No,
went. Also, I'm all aboard this train that like timelines and everything else have gotten messed up since they shut down the particle
CERN.
collider.
Mm-hmm.
Like 100% I'm aboard that train.
I just want to take a moment to say, well, I also agree with you. I don't believe it's been a year. I want to say that I think you've handled the first year really beautifully,
Thank you,
and you've done a really,
Borsty.
really, really great job. And you're a really, really great mommy, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Borsty. Well, you know I feel the same way about you.
Yeah. I mean, I've already said this to you. I don't know if I've said it on the recording, but when Cassie was about to have little best buddy, she had said, he's new in the world and this is new to me. We're all learning. And she really has stuck to that.
Thank you, Queen. Well, I am, if nothing else, a lady of my word.
Hmm. Which, like, there was no doubt. I want to make that very clear. But you've really handled everything very well. So,
Thank you, Borsty. I so
hugging you.
appreciate it. Thank you for saying so. I love you for that. It feels good to hear because sometimes I don't think that I
Oh, the
have.
mom voice in your head is way too loud. And
It
it's in
is.
my head as well. Moms have these voices that are just rude.
I mean, I kind of hope that soon I just start hallucinating.
It could be fun.
It could be fun, right?
It
But
could be fun.
parenthood, 1 year in, I can say it is easily the coolest thing I've ever done. It is simultaneously the most rewarding thing that I've ever done and also the most heartbreaking all at once because I'm
Yeah.
essentially putting in time, effort, energy, and love into building someone who will leave me.
Yep.
And that's how that goes. On that happy note, Odd Fam, shall we?
Let's get started.
I'm kicking us off
What
here.
ye have today?
I be having Charles Moody and Catherine May. First of all, they sound like Harry Potter characters to me.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And also, I feel like this is going to have drugs involved.
Let's get into it. This one is interesting in that it doesn't start with a spacecraft and it doesn't start with a light in the sky, but it starts with a
Oh,
conversation.
okay. Tell me more.
A memory that was told once and then told again and then retold in slightly different words. And each time it becomes more structured and more vivid and more certain. And over time, something subtle happens. The story stops feeling like something that happened, but feels like something that must have happened.
Okay.
Okay. And this is where the cases of both Charles Moody and Catherine may become important in UFO history. Not necessarily because they're anything super dramatic or anything, but because they reveal something foundational within UFO like lore, in that
Okay.
memory itself interacts very vividly with culture and suggestion and repetition. So, unlike other abduction accounts that emerge in fully formed UFO culture, right? These earlier narratives, they were looking at like the 1940s, so it's quite early.
Oh, yeah.
These hit in a very transitional period in our like time. We're in the U.S., by the way. So we're looking at post World War One, I mean two rather, and the psychological landscape that comes with that. We're looking at very early formation of like flying saucer like mythology and limited like standardized abduction storytelling templates for these people to follow. And then like this growing public fascination with the idea and possibility of extraterrestrial life, whatever. So these are not simply reports of UFOs. They're examples of how narrative structure begins to stabilize across human memory systems. So let's talk about Charles Moody.
Okay.
In the case of Charles Moody, the narrative centers around an unusual aerial encounter and perceived loss or distortion of time, sense of interaction with unknown entities. What's interesting about his is it's just this sense of interacting with them. It's not like point blank, yeah, I'd talk to these things or, whatever. And then a later attempt to try and reconstruct the event in detail. And so his case is scientifically interesting, isn't just the content of it, but really how the story develops over time. Across his retellings, his story tends to show increasing detail in visual descriptions. So it doesn't get worse over time, it gets like stronger over time.
Mm-hmm.
Stronger emotional certainty, more structured like sequence of events around things, and then a clear identification of entities or like a craft of some kind. So, this is consistent with what cognitive psychology will describe as reconstructive memory elaboration. So, basically, you have these repeated recalls, and it doesn't necessarily preserve the memory, but instead it ends up refining it, not necessarily in an accurate manner, but in a way that makes it more coherent. Then we have Catherine May. In her story, the emphasis shifts a little bit, right? So we've got this role of interpretation that becomes more central than the observation itself. We have more ambiguous experiences framed within this emerging UFO context. And we have a story that's influenced by external discussion and cultural reinforcement. So this introduces this concept that's pretty important, which is that memory is not isolated. So it doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? So what I mean by that is our memories are shaped by conversation and media exposure, questioning style when you're going to authorities about something like this, emotional reinforcement, and repetition of like narrative frameworks. So, this causes us to look at both of these cases almost like there's memory contamination.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's when it comes to like something like this, there's a couple of theories. There's the reconstructive memory theory, which shows that memory operates like a reconstructive process, and every recall involves reactivation of stored fragments and your brain filling in gaps based on contexts that it can be provided, integration of this new contextual information, and emotional reweighting of the details. And so that means that memory is not rebuilt, or it is rebuilt rather than replayed. So you don't just sit here and recall a memory, you're actively rebuilding it as you're trying to recall it.
Oh, okay.
Then there's something called the post event information effect. So, one of the most well documented phenomena in psychology is that new information received after an event can, in fact, alter the memory itself. So, this can occur through leading questions, the media, like social discourse around something, reinterpretation over time. And so, even subtle wording changes can influence how the memory is recalled. And then there's the social alignment of memory. So, when individuals share or discuss like weird experiences, their narratives will start to come together and inconsistencies will get smoothed out and shared vocabulary will develop. And we saw this in another case. And uncertainty is replaced with what feels like a certain story. So, this process creates what looks like corroboration, but it's actually just convergence through communication and not necessarily like an independent, unweighted verification of things. And so, you have that aspect. And then you also have the confidence escalation effect. And so basically, your memories can become more structured. Your subjective confidence increases, your emotional intensity can increase, and doubt can decrease, even if the accuracy of it doesn't actually improve. And so this creates this paradox in that the clearer that a memory feels, the less certain we can actually be of its origin,
Okay.
which is really weird to think about. So when we look at these two cases in particular, early on, they are very representative of this. So here's why they really matter in history. They represent a shift from what did people see to how do people remember what they think they saw. And so they start to highlight that UFO phenomena are not necessarily perceptual events, but they're also memory systems under some sort of cultural lens or influence. And so there's this internal mechanism around this. It's a three-layer memory formation. These cases illustrate very well this layered model of things. So layer one is the initial perception. In the case of both of them, they had this weird partial sensory experience. Then you have the second layer, which is immediate interpretation. Your brain assigns meaning to whatever this thing is. Oh, I saw this and it's
Mm-hmm.
weird. Like I feel this way. And then you have retrospective reconstruction. And your memory is shaped through time and conversation and exposure to other things. And so the final narrative around all this is a product of all three, not necessarily just what you actually took in at the time of the thing happening. So, the deeper implication of these cases is that two people can sincerely report essentially the same extraordinary experience individually from one another, and both can be absolutely convinced that they are recalling it perfectly accurately, but both memories may have diverged significantly from what was the original perception due to normal cognitive processes and outside forces. And so it's not like a purposeful deception, it's just how our naturally, like our memory works. So, if memory is not in fact this like static archive but is actually a living reconstruction that's happening all the time every time that you're accessing it, shaped by emotion and by language and social reinforcement, then what does it mean when multiple people remember something extraordinary in a very similar way, right? Like, so does
Mm-hmm.
it confirm the external reality of the event, or does it reveal something more fundamental about how human beings build shared certainty out of a relatively uncertain experience? So, like in the cases of like Moody and May, the most important phenomenon might not be what was necessarily seen in the sky, but rather how, for each of them, based on the context of the other, like the memory becomes a story that evolves until it feels like a fact.
Okay.
And really, like that's what there is to it. Like their stories, independent of one another, are very, very similar. Moody happens in the 40s. May actually happens much later. She's in like the 70s. The events are
Okay.
very, very similar, similar locations, similar, like all of that. But who's to say that, like, when they reconnected and like got to discuss about this or things like that, like, that they didn't end up influencing one another in how they're recalling what happened? Also, there's a huge gap of time
Yeah.
there.
There's a massive gap of time there, and things weren't, I don't want to say things weren't well recorded in the 40s, but like things like this specifically, it's not like something she could have read and been like, I can manipulate this guy.
Yeah. Also,
That
like,
that's the way that I'm looking at it.
and also, like, why? Like, to what end? You know? So
Yeah.
it's like, I think really what's important about these two is it's like, can we Can we trust anybody other than the first person that decided to spew out a UFO story? And can we even trust the first person that did that?
Right.
Because, like, all these people, like in later years, not necessarily 70s, but let's look at post 70s, right? Let's look like 90s. Let's look like, whatever. Got access to a lot of like information out there about other ones. And it's like, well, who's to say that they didn't read a bunch of stuff and be like, oh, yeah, that sounds familiar. That must have happened to me too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's not to say that they're like trying to lie. It's just weird. But at the same time, like, we've got our government finally declassifying a lot of like UFO stuff,
That is true.
which by the way, I've really not looked into much. So I want to do that before this is up
Yeah.
this season. But like, I just don't. I mean, again, I think I can come back to the same type of like feeling around all this, which is like maybe they saw something, maybe they didn't. I don't know. To
I
me,
don't know. I'm leaning on that they saw something. It's easy. I don't know. There's just something about it is leaning me that way.
I think,
I think about a lot of stuff when it's like, who are we to believe the first person to say anything about a UFO, right?
yeah,
And that also goes on to many other things. Why are we believing the person that discovered this or discovered that, or you know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's just I I don't have
like
words.
they totally could have. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like to me, the case is there's nothing about most of the cases because we have had a couple where you and I are like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like, but there's nothing about most of these cases that screams to me like, that's really weird and really out there. And like, yeah, they probably did actually experience this. Like, more times than not, there's something about the storyline where I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever.
And I get that.
But also, like, I mean, oh, it would be weird for me to be like, yeah, well, this person said they saw a ghost and I believe them, but this person said they saw an alien and I don't believe them. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it comes with, like, doing something in the paranormal space is inherently you have to decide, like, where do you sit? Do you want to be open-minded enough to believe, like, maybe? Neither of
Mhm.
them capitalized off of this. Neither of them, like,
Right?
so it's like, sure, maybe they did, or maybe they genuinely
Yeah.
believe they did.
And it could be that case that they genuinely believe that they did.
hmm
And that's okay too. I'm not gonna crap on someone believing in something.
No, I still believe in Santa Claus. Like, I mean, look, like, the way I see it is I'm not the one to make the call.
No, neither of us are.
No,
And I don't
so
think really anybody is, period.
and I'm not gonna be like an asshole and be like, ah, this person's like, like they didn't gain anything from this. So like, sure, if they
Yeah.
wanna, then fine.
I mean, regardless, it's still really cool. I can't get Mad Eye Moody out of my freaking head right now, but
That's all that's been in my head the whole time I was talking.
like the whole time. The
a
whole
hundred
time, that's all
percent.
I was picturing as well. So,
Um,
well,
so that's what we have. That's Moody and May. I'd love to hear what you've got.
I like Moody and May too. Like
Moody and
like
May,
something about that being
Eminem.
similar is like pretty fucking cool. You did a really good job
Thank you.
regardless. Finding all of these has
Thank
been
you.
very, very eye-opening.
There are a lot out
So,
there.
I mean, I'm not surprised about that actually.
Yeah, like there are so many out there. But what do you
Well,
have for us?
I'm still in Italy.
My people. Okay, I'm
Yes, your
listening.
people. Because when I originally covered, well, literally was last week's topic, I had expected to be covering the catacombs and then found out this whole travel system and it was very cool, right? I still want to cover the catacombs, so we're in Italy.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
So, beneath the streets of Rome lies a vast hidden city of the dead.
Love that.
Mwahahaha. Um, there are more than 50 catacomb complexes treading over 150 kilometers of tunnels. Um, carved into the soft volcanic tufa rock outside the ancient city walls, though popularly That's not a fucking word, Kelly.
Popularly?
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
Associated with early Christian persecution. The catacombs of Italy tell a richer, more layered story. One of Roman law, religious change, artistic innovation, and centuries of rediscovery, actually, which is pretty freaking cool.
Excellent.
The word catacomb derives from the Latin word catacombus, meaning among the tombs or next to the quarry. A reference to the site near Rome's Appian Way, where the earliest tunnels were excavated. Roman law strictly forbade burial within the city walls, both for sanitary reasons and out of religious tradition. As Rome's population swelled and grew in the 2nd century, land for burial grounds became scarce and expensive. The Jewish communities were the first to respond by digging underground cemeteries outside the city. Christian communities followed roughly a century later, adopting the same solution. Unlike the traditional Roman practice of cremation, both Jewish and Christian customs called for the intact burial of the body, reflecting on the belief that the body would be resurrected one day. Underground galleries solved two problems at once. They were relatively cheap to excavate and in the soft tufa stone, and they allowed burial space to expand vertically in tiers rather than consuming costly surface land. Skilled excavators known as forsters carved out the networks of narrow corridors and small rectangular niches called lucille, in
One or the other.
which bodies were wrapped in cloth and sealed behind slabs of marble or terracotta bearing in the name of the deceased. So it would be what you see in a mausoleum these days, essentially. That was, picture that.
Very cool.
The catacombs expanded steadily from the 2nd through the 15th century. Early on, most were modest families or communal burial plots. Over time, however, they grew dramatically around the tombs of martyrs and saints, since burial near the revered figure was considered spiritually desirable. This dynamic explains the spiraling scale of complexes such as the catacombs of San Castillo, which stretched nearly 20 kilometers and contain the tombs of numerous early bishops of Rome, or the catacombs of Domitilla, which extend more than 15 kilometers. It was believed that if they were buried next to a martyr or a saint, they wouldn't be in purgatory. They would just exceed on.
I mean, we can't all be that lucky.
A legend holds that Christians hid in the catacombs during periods of Roman persecution and secretly held worship services in there. Modern scholarships largely disputes this picture. Christians were not, in fact, persecuted continuously throughout the imperial period, and the larger chambers within the catacombs appear to have been used not for regular worship, but for commemorative meals. So, a funeral service.
Okay.
Essentially.
Gotta be honest, though, the idea of, like, worshipping underground in catacombs is giving cult.
100%.
Like, it's
100%.
giving culty energy.
Oh,
yeah.
Everyday life and mortality are also visible in the catacombs. Physical layout, a striking number of niches resized for infants, a somber testament to the era's high rates of child mortality. Larger tombs housed entire families together, suggesting that these underground cemeteries served ordinary Roman citizens, farmers, tradespeople, the poor, alongside the martyrs and the clergy, for whom they later became famous. What's different, or what I noticed is different about the more famous catacombs in Paris and these catacombs, these seemed more organized. And not as terrifying to walk through, perhaps.
I mean, like, the Paris catacombs are definitely, I feel, chaotic.
Very chaotic.
And,
Very, very
like,
chaotic.
yeah.
By the 8th and 9th century, waves of invasion into Italy left the catacombs vulnerable to looting. Gross.
Okay.
In response, the church transferred the relics of saints and martyrs into churches within the city. Many catacombs were sealed or simply forgotten, some for nearly thousands of years. Their rediscovery began in the 16th century or so, largely through the network of archaeologist Antonio Beso, whose decades of exploration culminated in the 1632 publication of Roma Soterrana.
Okay.
In the 19th century, Giovanni Bastiglia di Rossi expanded his this research into more than a systematic archaeology, and further discoveries continued into the 20th century. Today, several catacomb complexes, including San Castillo, San Sebastiano, Domitilla, Priscilla, and St. Agnes, are open to the public, typically with a guide, because anything can be a tourist attraction if you try hard enough.
That's exactly right.
I would definitely go.
100% I would go.
I think I would be more comfortable in these catacombs than I would be in Paris.
These
Um,
feel less like this is gonna collapse on me and I'm gonna die.
yeah, it does. 100%. It feels more structurally sound if you ask me.
Yeah, plus the
Um,
guide, like a, you know.
I want to go not only to see this and see the history, right? But I covered a topic very long time ago, the Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I really do. I would want to go see her.
So what you're
Like,
telling me is we have to go to my motherland.
duh.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
know like how much good food we're gonna eat?
So much good food.
Like so much good food.
Like coming back much heavier than when we left.
So worth
Good
it.
food.
So worth it.
Yeah. I would love like an eat, pray, love situation, but only in Italy.
Yes. Absolutely. 100%.
Specifically that scene where they're trying to buy new jeans.
That's exactly right. No, I think we would have so much fun. So obviously, but I'm with you. Like, I would totally check this out, especially if they have like guided tours. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
and another very cool thing about these catacombs is like, and it makes sense. There is, they hold enormous importance of the history of early Christian art because so little Christian art survives before roughly 400 CE above ground. There's sculptures and like I guess the earliest depiction of the Virgin Mary.
hmm,
Like these are very cool
well, really
things.
cool things. Yeah.
Um, they also have reoccurring artworks of the Good Shepherd scenes of Noah and the New Testament, and that's also interesting to me. Apparently there's a big thing about Lazarus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there is so much history below that I want to see that. It's just very cool.
I, the thing about Italy, it's one of those places where it's quite old. So there's just so much history.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different things there. Like there are actually a lot of different aspects of culture thrown in from like different cultures around the world and stuff. So it's like it makes for a really unique location actually to visit. You always hear about people like, yeah, I went to Rome, but there's like so much more to it than that too.
Mm-hmm. So much
So
more.
yeah, it's I mean, great job. I think the catacombs were definitely something worth covering. Certainly fall under a tunnel system. But like honestly, I didn't even really know that these catacombs existed. When you hear about the catacombs, I always just go straight to
You go straight
Paris.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
everybody does. And they're actually quite a bit all over the world.
Yeah.
It's the French are not the only ones who did it. That's my point.
So stop like acting that way, huh?
Yeah.
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 Frenchies. So yeah, no, but I think it's that makes sense, right? Like I mean, I guess the whole thing that's strange to me is like when you think about it, everybody wants to try and go to a heaven or something like that. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
associates it with
Mm-hmm.
being up, and yet the tradition is to put people farther away from it.
Yeah, right. I do think that that's interesting, and like it is interesting to me the thought process of being buried next to a martyr or a saint or someone of power would get you past like that thought process is so
Hmm.
interesting to me. When you're dead, you're not going to care.
No,
Like,
no, but it's an Italian thing, you know.
but it's so great. Like,
If I'm parked,
I could genuinely see the thought process there.
yeah, they're like, park me next to this person and I'm good to go.
And I
Like,
know, like, there was this for a long time, Catholics believed babies were stuck in purgatory
mm-hmm,
if they weren't baptized before passing.
mm-hmm,
And so a lot of the time people would break into churches and try to bury them beneath altars
mm.
because that would get them past purgatory. It's a very interesting mindset, and interesting that this was the thought process amongst
People,
your grieving.
yeah, people do, I think, what they need to do to make peace with a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very cool in my opinion. I find interesting death facts and things like that just very neat. I
I
think
love
death is
death,
cool.
as we know.
So
So, yeah, I mean, big fan all around. Yeah, no, great job, Borsty. Very cool topic.
thank
I'm so
y'all.
glad you covered it.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
I am too.
Odd fam. Do of Cuervo let us know your thoughts on these topics today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not too late still to send in
A listener's episode.
a listener's episode if you'd like. We have, I think, just like one or two. Um, but as always, we want to hear from you. And until next time.
Stay strange.